Hey everybody, this is Joshua, and this is the second ever episode of Chit Chat with Joshua. Today, we will be discussing vaccines. So let's hop to it. Vaccines, a word which today elicits a variety of drastically different responses when only a dozen years ago it was considered a rather uncontroversial topic. But before I lay bare the truth behind vaccines, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to see more content on topics that shapes our society. And I do not have a paid sponsorship with Coca-Cola. But if you ever happen to have a desire for a soft drink, Coca-Cola is the way to go. To begin, let me first take you through how vaccines came to be. It all started with an English physician and scientist named Edward Jenner, who was born in 1749. From a young age, he showed promise in medicine and quickly became a qualified surgeon. One day, after observing the milkmaids, these women who tend to essentially milk cows, who had previously caught cowpox, a similar but less severe version of smallpox, never received smallpox or never contracted smallpox in their lifetime, he reasoned that the pus that these milkmaids had from cowpox actually protected them from smallpox. In 1796, he set out to test his theory. He scraped pus from cowpox blisters on the hands of a milkmaid and inoculated an 8-year-old boy. The boy then experienced fevers and some discomfort before recovering with no permanent side effects. Jenner then followed this up by rubbing powdered smallpox scabs into superficial scratches made on the skin of the boy, and when no smallpox followed, the first official vaccination had successfully occurred. From there, the idea spread like wildfire, and the rest, as they say, is history. Today, vaccines are far more advanced than they were in Jenner's time. According to biologists, vaccines are defined as harmless forms of a whole pathogen or antigen from said pathogen that are administered to patients so as to gain immunity. They are commonly injected into a patient through their arm or in some cases their buttocks. At a high level, the benefits and risks of vaccination are rather easy to understand. For benefits, these include the complete eradication of diseases. For example, smallpox was successfully eradicated in the 20th century through collaboration between countries around the world. Vaccinations also provide protection to individuals against said disease. And thirdly, vaccinations actually ensure the breakage of a disease transmissible cycle in the population by establishing herd immunity. Now, from these 3 points, some of you may be wondering, what exactly is herd immunity? Well, herd immunity essentially refers to a form of immunity where a significant proportion of a population provides protection for individuals who have not yet developed immunity themselves. This comes about when a high percentage of the population is vaccinated and hence makes it difficult for an infected individual to make contact with a susceptible individual. This effectively stops the spread of the virus in communities and is especially crucial in protecting those who are immunocompromised, like the elderly, children who are simply too young to take vaccines, or those who are very ill. So with the benefits clearly laid out, I will now be moving on to the concerns that individuals have with regards to vaccination. The 2 main concerns of vaccination are the reversion of virulence to cause diseases, which essentially means that vaccines which use an inactivated form of pathogens actually fail because the virus becomes activated. Hence, the patient becomes infected with said virus as opposed to being successfully vaccinated. Another risk is the adverse side effects of vaccination. This typically occurs in the form of severe allergic reactions, which is known as anaphylaxis. An example of a vaccine that brings about said consequences is the DTaP vaccine, which is a combination of 3 vaccines commonly given to babies. It is known to lead to long-term seizures, comas, permanent brain damage, and even death and lower consciousness. Now, that we've covered the concrete details with regards to vaccines and their benefits and risks, I would like to move on to a more outlandish claim that has gained increasing prominence in recent years. This claim is essentially that vaccines should be avoided at all costs because they cause the recipient to develop some sort of syndrome. However, this is simply an extremely weak argument. This is because, purely from a statistical and empirical point of view, the likelihood of developing some sort of syndrome from a vaccination is just so low. In fact, in the USA, where there's a population size of about 330 million, over the last 50 years, only $4 billion was paid out to families who had children with some sort of syndrome and claimed that it was from a vaccine. This is rather a very small amount considering the time frame of half a century and the massive population size of the United States. Furthermore, it is simply human nature for us to go with the flow, and as such, the average human being doesn't consciously weigh factors in any given topic. Instead, we tend to downplay risks of everyday hazards like car crashes while overplaying risks with a low likelihood, such as plane crashes. In fact, in America, 9% of Americans, that's about 30 million Americans, believe zombies exist and they are afraid of said zombies. And they don't even exist. So now, putting this into context, let's take the measles vaccine. 1 out of 6 people experienced low-grade fevers from the measles vaccine. 1 out of 20 suffered from some sort of rash, while 1 out of 1 million suffered a major allergic reaction. Hence, you're actually 3 times more likely to be killed by an off-course fireworks than the measles vaccine. In addition, vaccines are safer than medications because medications are given to individuals with a weaker immune system as they are sick, while vaccinations are actually given to individuals with strong immune systems. So to end off, in my point of view, the benefits of vaccination far outweigh the costs. As such, I think vaccinations are essential to a nation's ability to overcome an epidemic or pandemic that ravages the nation. So I believe it should be made compulsory by the government, but only in certain situations. So let me qualify that. Vaccines to prevent you from transmitting diseases to others should be made compulsory. This is because it can result in a negative externality where a third-party individual is infected because you weren't vaccinated. However, if these vaccines were made compulsory, it would actually result in a positive externality of herd immunity, which would in turn protect those who are immunocompromised and are unable to take the vaccine. However, vaccinations whose only purpose is to protect you from the virus and don't actually provide any sort of herd immunity should not be made compulsory. It should be actually left up to the individual to decide, and the person's liberty should not be infringed upon and should be instead protected from infringement by the government. Now, on that note, I thank you all for taking the time to watch this video of Chit Chat with Joshua. I want to know your thoughts about my video, so please drop me a comment and give me some feedback. If any of you have any preferred topic you would like me to talk about in the future, please let me know. So this is me signing off, Chit Chat with Joshua, episode 2.